finally some gaming news coming out. It's been pretty dry. It's usually pretty dry over the holidays, but we got some stuff coming up. Let me introduce my two co-hosts. You know, they're here every week. Finally, it's crazy that we get a schedule. Everyone's showing up every week. Speaking of showing up every week, Chris, how you doing?
I've been here for the past fucking year, every week, bright eye and bushy tailed. But you can tell by the voice, it's your boy Chris P, the tallest and the lankiest.
I'm so glad you could join us. Just give us a heads up next time you can't make it.
Yeah, I'll let you know when that time comes, because I know it's very frequent now that I'm not on the podcast, but I'll keep you posted.
Okay, thank you. Tom, how are you doing, buddy?
Not bad. Ready to close out the week. Excited for the weekend. Happy to be hydrated. You know, sleeping pretty good. So all in all, decent little week.
Well, I'm glad you're looking forward to the weekend. And you know, speaking of the weekend, we might as well just run right into a little thing we like to call the weekend recap.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
So, I guess I can start. I didn't do anything this weekend. I dog sat again, played a bunch of video games. I played The Witcher. I'm like 50 hours into that. Pretty sure I'm only like 6% of the way done with the actual story because I have horrible OCD when it comes to open world games. Played a little bit of Counter-Strike here and there. And crazy enough, I downloaded H1Z1, one of the original Battle Royales to come out, because there's a bunch of streamers right now that are trying to revive it. All of my friends that play video games, that I play video games with, grew up on H1Z1. Like, they started PC gaming with H1Z1. So, revved it up, played a bunch of it. The game is super fucking janky, incredibly unforgiving, but it's so fucking fun when you're in a Discord with 10 other people just screaming the entire time. So, if you're interested, download H1Z1. It's free. Maybe get the player base back up. It's kind of a blast. I'm not gonna lie.
Is that an ad you just threw in? Do you have an ad we don't know about?
It's a free.
Wow, this week on free ads.
Free ads.
It's a free game. There's no ad. It's a free game.
How are they paying you if it's a free? Yeah, that's great. We gotta talk about this after. I thought we were splitting things three ways. I don't know.
Handsomely, they're paying me fucking handsomely. Oh my god,
Tom,
how was your weekend?
Gotta be something handsome about you. Not bad.
All right, Chris, how was your weekend?
Not bad. My weekend was pretty good. Went out with some family. Went to the casino. Played a little blackjack. Had some ups and some downs. You know, all in all, still left there with my shirt on my back. So that wasn't bad. Other than that, just took it easy on Sunday because nobody felt good, and been playing a lot of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I finally beat the champion in Sword and Shield, so not nearly even close to done with the game because there's a ton of like end game stuff to do, and there's a little bit more like story left over and stuff like that. So pretty happy about that. And also updated World of Warcraft to the most recent patch 8.3, which has been kind of slow to start. Usually, like, the big story patches are kind of slow anyway, but my whole week just got derailed and thrown into a blender by this new ESO DLC unveiling. So we can talk about that a little bit too. But yeah, the ESO DLC unveiling just is derailed my interest for anything else role-playing related for the rest of the year. So yeah, that's me.
Nice. And then I guess as for me, I hung out with Dom. I don't know if you mentioned it, but Dom and I got together for a little dinner. I got a couple of drinks after that. I mean, did you bring that up in your weekend recap, Dom?
I said I hung out with the fam.
Wow. No, good cover. That's a good cover. Right?
You see it.
Nice attempt.
Yeah,
nice
I hung out with the fam. You already know.
Yeah, no, it's a good cover. So I hung out with Dom, and then I hung out with my other buddies. Had a nice football day on Saturday. Had a couple games on. Had some bets in. It was a real good time. A couple White Claws throughout the whole day. I know they're frowned upon, but I mean, they're just delicious if you're drinking them the whole day. As for what I've been playing, I tried playing H1Z1 with Bob for the first time. And let me tell you, and this is a free ad because it's terrible, but I tried playing the fucking game. Like, I've watched people play it for all this time. I was like, oh, it's really doesn't look like my cup of tea, but there's a bunch of people playing it free. If it's free, it's for me. So I tried it out. I literally downloaded the game, played 2 games, and uninstalled. Could not do it. My first game, I spawned in next to a Lamborghini. I'm like, wait, can I like get into this? I was just whipping around and died. I just wanted a joyride, but I couldn't. Did not enjoy it. Other than that, I've been playing some Call of Duty. Other than that, not a whole lot, but it was a good weekend. Really can't complain. Good seeing my my buddy Dom, even though he won't acknowledge that he saw me. But it was fun.
I said I was hanging out with the fam. You're included in that.
No, you're not. You're just trying to backtrack.
How are you going to tell me? You were one of my fucking groomsmen. Why would I not lump you in there?
I don't know, bro. All right, whatever. I'll let that one slide. I'll let that one slide.
That's crazy that you don't consider me the same way. I'm kind of offended now.
No, I do, but you've just never.
I'm countersuing.
To me as that. I don't know. I don't know. Something's off. We're gonna have to talk off stream. We're gonna have to talk off stream.
Well, you're gonna talk, all right.
I don't know how I feel about this. You're not coming to my wedding. Yeah. When I get married in like 3 decades, you're not coming.
Yeah, I know. Wait
I'm never gonna get married, so it's all good. Looking forward to this weekend. My weekend was great. Played some good games. Bob, you already said how your weekend was, so I'll pass it back over to you and get the row on the show.
Yeah, well, I know Dom watched the Nintendo Direct, and he's emphatic about many things when it comes to Nintendo. I never took you for much of a Super Smash Brothers guy, but I know you have some choice words to say, so I'm gonna let you take the reign here.
Yeah, so I'm not really like a big Smash guy, and there are a few different things that I do like very many Nintendo based things. However, the most recent Nintendo Direct, there's actually been 2 Nintendo Directs in like the last week. They've been pretty small. We talked about the Pokemon one last week. We talked about the new DLC that's coming out for it, which I think will be good. And then Nintendo has unveiled some new DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is the fifth fighter in like the fighter pack, the first fighter pack. I guess there's supposed to be 3 of them planned. This is going to be the 5th one, and a lot of speculation. A lot of speculation has been going around. Some people thought that we were going to get Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Some people thought that we were going to get Sora from Kingdom Hearts. And then even people that were a little bit more like lofty goals were like holding out for Crash Bandicoot. There's just been a lot of speculation. The Crash Insane trilogy came to Switch, so people were thinking like maybe, sort of. But as always, I'm always holding out hope for Geno from Super Mario RPG to be added to the game. There's a lot of fans that are hoping for that too. So we're thinking, listen, as long as it's something unique, as long as it's something original, something surprising, I guess I'll be happy. There's a lot of different ways you can go for this. So what does Nintendo do? They go with another fucking Fire Emblem character. There are now more characters from the Fire Emblem franchise in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate than there are from like the Mario games. That's not an exaggeration. So Byleth from Fire Emblem 3 Houses on the Switch, which is supposed to be amazing. That was a lot of people's Game of the Years. I know Brylan, friend of the program from Down in Front Podcast, that was his Game of the Year for 2019. Byleth from Fire Emblem 3 Houses is coming to Smash, and they even reference it in the reveal trailer. They're like, oh, another sword guy or something like that. And it just blows my mind that we have yet another Fire Emblem character. Like I'm sure for fans of the franchise, fans of Fire Emblem, they're like, going nuts over this because they probably just can't get enough of these characters. But I mean, the amount of similarity between Byleth and the other Fire Emblem characters that are already in the game just strikes me as a wasted opportunity when they've been teasing this as this like big surprise reveal. Mr. Sakurai in the video was like, even people at Nintendo headquarters are gonna flip when we get to this next reveal. And I don't know if he was even just being sarcastic at this point or what, but it just seems to me like this was like a super like tone deaf addition. I guess it's a no-brainer considering how popular of a Switch game it was, but I just can't imagine that anybody was really like blown away, surprised, or like impressed by this unless they were like really big Fire Emblem super fans.
Yeah, I was seeing a bunch of people tweeted about the whole thing after. What was the name of the character they introduced? I know you just said it a million times.
Byleth.
But,
it's okay.
Byleth,
It's a dumb name. It's a dumb name, so you don't have any
It's a
reason.
ridiculous name. Yeah, I saw a tweet as soon as it got announced. Someone put like Byleth's like picture over Conor McGregor. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? and I died. I was like, that's perfect because that's how I felt too. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we watched a 38-minute Nintendo Direct, and all we got was a new Fire Emblem character, and we watched the guy count on one hand in binary to 31. And it's just Nintendo, they're like the kings of filler in their in like these tiny presentations. The big presentations are always like bang, 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 huge reveal, huge reveal, huge reveal, surprise, surprise, surprise. These little ones, it's like the reveal takes 5 minutes, and then it's just nonsense. Fucking nonsense. So, I mean, I don't know. Bob, you got a Switch now. I mean, you're more of a Smash guy than I was. I mean, were you holding out hope for anybody else, or did you see any of these rumors for, you know, different characters that were going to be added?
I mean, I need to make one point very clear before I say anything. If you pull up Fire Emblem characters that are in Super Smash Brothers, they all look the same.
Yes.
Every single one of them looks exactly alike. They all have super tight pants, like cavalry pants, with boots, some gloves, a sword. Everybody's got a fucking sword and a cape.
Yep.
A red and or blue cape.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Where's the variety?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when first off, Jimmy, thank you for the 500 bits. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jimmy.
But with me, I think Sora would fit in Super Smash so well. It would be perfect. It would be perfect. And like, if you don't want to do Sora, at least like, is Master Chief in Smash yet?
No.
Wait,
throw Chief in there.
What are you talking about?
I'd be fine with that. I mean, if you could get away with Solid Snake, put Chief in there.
Microsoft. Well, yeah, but that was different because Microsoft didn't own the IP to any of the Metal Gear Solid characters.
But
whatever.
Konami did, and Konami sold the rights to Nintendo.
Microsoft and Nintendo have been like courting each other, though. I feel like the last like 6 months they've been trying to. They've been playing with each other a little bit under the table. You know what I mean?
There's never okay. Never mind. I'm not going to say there's never going to be Master Chief in any fucking Super Smash Brothers game, but it's unlikely.
A prediction too bold for Dr. Bob. Didn't want to go there.
I don't know.
Didn't want to go there.
Put his brain in a fucking pretzel for a second.
I mean, Sora would be great. Sora would be great. You can add Mickey, Goofy, and Donald as like assist trophies.
Yeah,
Yep.
throwing Tom Nook. He'll just fucking work you to death.
I mean, yeah.
Pull weeds until you die.
So there are now 8 Fire Emblem characters in Smash. So you have Marth, Lucina, Roy, Chrom, Ike, Robin, Corrin, and now Byleth. And if you're asking what distinguishes them, I'll tell you that at least 4 of them, actually 5 if you count Byleth, all look exactly the same. They have the same like dark blue hair, light blue eyes, and like a cloak on. And if you did one of those matching games where it was like put the name next to the character, I legitimately could not.
Way.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I would not be able to do it. So I don't know, man.
Literally any character from the Kingdom Hearts franchise makes sense just because they could even access Disney characters at that point if they wanted to extend rights further. But like the only other thing I can think of is Majora from Majora's Mask, because like it's a small character, just like half of the other characters in the game. But then you have like one of those, you know, the super, the thing where you punch the super fucking ball that's flying around and you get your mega thing.
Yeah.
He turns into like the end form day like
like
day 3. Yeah,
the big thing. Yeah, that's the only way I know how to describe it. Is going like
yeah, the big thing like this. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of shocked at too. Is there anyone from Dragon Ball Z in that game? No, right? Like, what about you throw Goku in there? I feel like that would be sick.
Yeah. That's like one of those other like pie in the sky ones. Like people have said Chief. Like there are lots of people on the internet that will like rationalize these to death. Like and have, you know, obviously it's like a big tinfoil hat thing. Like Chief, Goku, even like there haven't been any like Marvel or DC people speculated, but like those are the 2 big like way out there ones that like people could still see being added.
Yeah, but the thing is, Dragon Ball Z already has its own fighting game. Why would it want to put why would it want to put its titular character in another fighting franchise?
I mean, Ken and Ryu have their own fighting game, and so does Terry Bogard, and they're in Smash.
Point.
I mean, just throw in Tony Vercetti and call it a day.
Tony Vercetti? Who the fuck is that? That's like the Party City version of Tommy Vercetti from Vice City?
Oh, what I said? Tommy. I said Tony.
You go to Party City to get a Vice City costume, and it says Tony Vercetti on it?
It's his brother. It's his brother. Tony.
Oh, my God.
You don't know Tony?
Unbelievable. Chris, what do you want to talk about?
So there was news that came out about TFue. He had a interview, TFue. I don't know how the fuck what the kids call him, but he had an interview with the Washington Post, and the last question they asked him was referring to a 16,000 square foot warehouse that he bought that he plans on using for him and his brother for content creation, and they also want to teach people kind of about streaming and action sports, which kind of does not go hand in hand. But the more I read into it, it sounds like they're going to do some sort of like incubation for people that want to be streamers and content creators. So in my head, my initial knee-jerk reaction is it's a little weird. It makes sense because you're going to have all these kids. So like when you were growing up, right, you wanted to be a fucking astronaut, or you wanted to be in the MLB, the NFL, whatever it was. Kids growing up nowadays want to be live streamers and they want to be YouTubers. Yeah. It's a whole different world that we live in. So you know damn well these kids are going to be like, all right, like I can go to camp to learn how to play basketball. Right. Or I can go to TFue's streamer camp and I'll go there, I'll hang out with him, and like I'll learn the ins and outs of streaming. This is a parent's nightmare because this thing, first of all, is not going to be cheap. Right. You know he's going to charge an arm and a leg for it. And it's just a whole different concept. Like all the TV shows that you've watched, like Silicon Valley and stuff like that, they have incubation houses for coders, for small business owners. They have stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But now we're at the point now where it's going to start happening for streamers. It's very weird. So I just wanted to open up to you guys, get your initial knee-jerk reaction. Is this going to be something that sticks? To me, I think this is very short-lived because, I mean, obviously we do this, right? We do a podcast, we live stream. You don't know how long live streaming is going to be a fad. Like right now, it's like the biggest fad of all time. Like everyone's doing it. Everyone wants to do it. Yeah. But you don't know how long it'll last. So it could be very short-lived. It could go far into the future. They could teach you about different types of platforms to be on and how to kind of optimize your content for it. Do you guys think this is something that'll last? I mean, and secondly, how much money is this kid going to make?
I mean, I'll jump in here first, just because, like you had said it before, like kids are like growing up and they want to be YouTubers. Like, you know, they probably have Fisher Price, My First YouTube kit, you know, in toy aisles that have like a toy camera and you can like record yourself, and you know, I don't know, that stuff just kind of drives me up a wall because I completely agree. I mean, maybe be a little bit more ambitious than that. I'm not trying to take away anything from content creators who have made a living doing it, but you know, you grow up idolizing you know, somebody on YouTube who's opening toys and a little kid who's making $9 billion a year doing that, and you know, I don't know. I just feel like maybe there are some better role models. I mean, and I hate to sound like, I feel like I'm at the risk of sounding like an old fuck and being like, oh, those video games are gonna rot your brain, you can't go anywhere with those. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, the incubation stuff for streamers, like making a stream house, making like a training ground for people who want to better themselves is one thing. I think that you should have some sort of like credentials or have some sort of background or history in it before you engage in that, though. Like, I would understand if this is something for like middle of the road streamers who want to get better, but for, you know, kid first day of high school is like, Dad, I'm running away to TFue's streaming palace to go be a Twitch partner. I mean, I just feel like maybe there's some better ways to do that.
There is. I mean, to me, it just sounds like one big meet and greet. Like, the only way that I see this realistically being a thing is if he personally like vouches for these streamers, like he pushes their content out there. Like, it's the select few people that he allows do it. Like, you have to go in with a certain amount of viewers as it is, a certain amount of followers as it is, and he gives you that little push, because not for nothing, if you go in there completely starting out fresh. It doesn't matter what they teach you. You're not gonna be like, okay, like I know what to do now. Now I'm just gonna go do it. Whatever they're teaching you, you can learn from YouTube. It's 2020, baby. You can learn how to do anything on YouTube. You want to find out how to stream? Go on YouTube. You don't have to pay a guy thousands of dollars to go to his incubation camp for 2 weeks for him to tell you everything that you could have learned from your house. It makes sense to have something like that, but like you said, there's better ways that you can spend your time and money. To me, you learn by doing, and being in a warehouse with someone who's doing it. Yes, it will help, but at the end of the day, that's not what's going to make you pop off. I mean, it's few and far between where people gain traction on the internet. Like, people care about what they say. There's millions and millions, if not a billion people that are like trying to do this, trying to do content creation, and the lifespan on it is very short because people get frustrated. So I don't see this necessarily being a game changer for people that want to do this. Bob, do you think that this could be something you think this is actually worth people's money?
Do I think it's... I'm going to answer your question and then go back to another question you asked beforehand. Do I think it's worth people's money? Absolutely not. I completely agree with everything you said. You can learn all this shit on your own. For the vast majority of the stuff that I've done when it comes to streaming for us, I go through YouTube, or I contact other people that stream as well that have possibly more optimized setups than I do. So I network myself. This is a form of networking in itself for them. Do I think he's going to make a shit ton of money off of this? Maybe. When it comes down to the contract stuff, it's probably going to be like, hey, I want like X amount percentage of your income when you get like subscribers, or when you get your Twitch payouts every month.
Wow. How about that? Everything comes fucking full 360. The person that was suing his company for fucking him out of a contract, watch how quick he does it to people that have no idea. Watch
Maybe.
everything come full circle.
Maybe. What was the question beforehand? Do I think this is going to be a trend that continues in the future? Honestly, yes, I do. I see, if you see the trajectory of everything that's going forward in, gaming, streaming culture right now, it's just going up. Like, there's really no stop to it. It's just a straight projection upwards. I think when you get super successful people like this, and they have these, like, in their mind, it's assumed to be a big brain idea, like, oh, I'm going to start an incubation for streamers. I guess, like, in some people's minds, that makes sense. It kind of even makes sense in my mind. I get it. You want to curate up-and-coming, like another generation of up-and-coming streamers, where they probably have to meet a minimum requirement of just to get in the door, and then they need to like show content to him that he's willing to, promote as well.
Yes, that makes sense.
I think more even mid-tier and like larger streamers who can afford to like buy a 6-bedroom house in Austin, Texas for like $200,000, you get 6 streamers in there that are basically paying it off for you. Mm-hmm. I'm sure people are going to continue to do this. We already have professional esports teamed houses that exist. Mm-hmm. We already have stream houses where there's a half a dozen people living in the same house streaming for the same network, all on Twitch, or even like half of them at this point are on Twitch. Some are on YouTube, some are on Mixer. They're all living in the same environment together. They're all doing it for each other. I think it's going to keep going. I think the next step after this is someone's going to come out with a streaming education system. Like someone's going to be charging people X amount of money to access fucking Shroud School of Streaming.
Mavis Beacon teaches streaming.
But like, excuse me. So there are people doing it, yes, but to me, right, like 100 Thieves is opening up a warehouse to like pretty much teach esports and stuff like that, like get better at the game. To me, that's a better investment because let's be honest, a lot of people that try to stream have the personality and the entertainment skills of a wet cardboard box. And if you're not really entertaining on Twitch or live streaming as a whole, you better be really good at what you play because that'll make people come. So you might as well kind of back into it, get really good at a game so people get to know you for your gameplay, and then they'll come just to watch you play, and whatever you do from a personality standpoint is kind of just a bonus. I think that's better off because you can go in different routes, right? So you can get really good at a game, you can stop playing competitive, then you can go to You can go to streaming. You can go towards media coverage when you know these games inside and out. But if you're strictly going to something for streaming / content creation, that's all you can really do. Unless you want to like try to grow, get big, and then pivot in other ways.
Yeah, but maybe that's the second step in the process. Maybe you go to the 100 Thieves warehouse and you figure out how to improve at whatever game they're teaching you, and then you go to TFue's fucking warehouse and you implement what you learned at the first one into how can I make this knowledge that I previously gained benefit me in a streaming career.
Yeah, it should be a 7-step program. You should be like being a good person 101, video games 102, how to play video games 103, pick a video game, and then, okay, how to get good at that video game 104, and you build it all the way up until you want to start streaming. There has to be multiple steps.
We just came up with a 7-step system. Hit the patent office. We're opening a school.
If there's any lawyers in chat, patent lawyers, patent attorneys, we want to open up a patent, please.
Please. Thank
I
you.
would like
really
one patent, please.
Yes, sir. I will take one of your finest patents, please. It'll be cool. Like, not for nothing. If it isn't a way to network, I'm all for it. I mean, there's worse ways that you can spend your money. You can pump it into advertisers that don't do it for you, that don't do anything to promote you. Or you can go somewhere that you have to pass certain guidelines. It's like, okay, you average like, I don't know, 100 viewers, right? You have 10,000 followers on this. And then like, okay, I'll personally like step into one of your videos and give you a boost. And then for your ad revenue on that video, you have to cut me this amount, and then I'll set you free, or like something like that.
I'm almost positive there's going to be a base. I want X amount of whatever Twitch pays you out at this, like at the end of the month.
TP Poker, what is wrong with you?
I mean, Chris, you pretty much said it in the beginning and hit the nail on the head. Like, this is a glorified meet and greet, and I genuinely don't see anybody's careers being launched by this. I would love to be proven wrong. But I would faster support like a reality show where it's like, are you the next streamer?
Shut the fuck up. Patent lawyer on the phone. Patent lawyer.
I will take 2 patents, please.
Yeah, make that 2. Can we just 2, and then close it out? Do 2 and then close 15? It out.
2 for 15, please.
So here you go. Tinfoil hat. Hold on. Let me just hold on one sec. Bob, you said didn't you say there was a new gaming network that was launching? Like somebody is starting like a streaming service or something like that. Regardless, we are going to get a like America's Next Top Streamer like reality series. It's going to be coming to either Twitch, Mixer, or like YouTube Gaming at some point this year. We're getting it. We're getting it this year because you know what? There's Netflix, you got Hulu, you got fucking Peacock that just got announced by NBC earlier today. And you know how they differentiate from each other? Original programming. And that's what we're going to start getting, is we're going to start getting more like company mandated, like Twitch produced channels that are going to be like regular shows. And we're going to get Twitch's Next Top Streamer, and the winner gets immediately partnered. They get 4 billion bits or some shit, and like a $5,000 like rig, and a kind of co-stream with somebody. I don't know. I'm telling you, it's happening.
That would be cool. I mean, not for nothing. Yeah. Like gaming content as a whole on like YouTube. We'll talk about YouTube for now. It's actually pretty fucking entertaining. I get in rabbit holes with like Nate Shot's vlogs and stuff like that. They're very fucking entertaining. So if they were to do reality shows from like the 100 Thieves house or like the TSM house, they'd be hilarious, and have them do little skits and stuff. I'm telling you, when a like a legit gaming network for TV comes out or something like it, G4, bring it back. Yeah, bring back something better, please. But
are you fucking kidding me?
It's 2020, Bob. Just something better. But I'm telling you,
sick.
Oh, blow me. The content will be phenomenal. I'm telling you, it'll be really cool. But Dom, that's not a bad idea. I could see that happening.
I can concur with that. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the Zoltan Bob nod of approval, because you called it, and I'm backing you up. It's happening.
The stamp is right there.
Yeah. Bang.
Hold on, I want to pivot really quick for Dom. Do you have any like breaking news sound or something you can just like murmur if you want? Just you can just This just in. There was a man. All right, it's good. There was a man at the. I just blogged it on wickedgoodgaming.com. There was a man at the Portland International Airport that was waiting for his flight. Walked up to the monitors at the airport that like showed where you were, like you are here, that type of thing. That showed people where they had to go to get to their gates and whatnot. He unplugged that monitor, plugged it into his PlayStation, and started playing Apex Legends, sitting there waiting for his flight. The supervisors at the airport walked up to him. They go, "Excuse me, sir, like you can't do this." You know what this kid did? This legend. He said exactly what we would have said. He turned around and goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor, can I just finish the match?"
Exactly.
You know what these motherfuckers at Portland International Airport said? No, you can't do that. They lost my business. I'm never going to Portland again.
No.
That is
how many times have you gone to Portland?
That's not important.
Okay.
I'm just not going again. But that's uncalled for.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, when you think about it, like the guy's a legend. I mean, those are pretty good TVs, and not for nothing, but like depending on what airport you're at, there's probably 2 of them. I mean, do they need both of them?
Oh my
god!
God.
There's plenty.
Oh
you're gonna tell me there's gonna be an HDMI wire in plain sight, and there's gonna be a 144 hertz monitor in front of me, and I can't play video games on it?
That sounds like we.
Blow up.
Yeah. Okay. This sounds. I mean, what's next? Honestly, you know, like. Yeah. This is not the America that I grew up in, because
no, the world's dark enough as a place as it is.
Listen, I'm telling you, and 9 times out of 10, one of those TVs just has like the airline logo on it. One of them says like United Airlines, the other one says like departures, and if it's pretty close, if it's like not within about an hour or so of the flight, there's nothing on those TVs. It just has like come back soon, come back a little. Let the guy play a game.
Yeah,
let him finish his game. Now you're gonna give him a penalty because he had to quit.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, what if it was a ranked game? That's so
wild.
Fucked up.
That's wild.
Portland gets the Wicked Good Gaming suck it for the day.
They also, not for nothing, but a Wicked Good Gaming send it to the Portland airport for having Wi-Fi that's good enough to actually play an Apex game, because that's pretty fucking impressive.
That is. I mean, enough of that, but we wouldn't know because he made the kid quit.
I mean, what was his ping?
It was probably 0. Probably phenomenal connection. Probably phenomenal connection. He was probably the host of the server.
Yeah, 4 green bars. He's getting the host bonuses. We were playing Halo the other day, and Kevin was yelling at somebody for hosting, and I'm pretty sure that's not even a thing anymore.
It's not.
I feel like when I used to play like Gears 1, you'd be like, "Oh my god, this fucking kid's hosting," and yeah, he just kid's hosting. I was losing my shit.
It's all server based. There's servers. So like in Counter-Strike, there's servers around the country. So there's Dallas, Denver, and Chicago. So whichever server is hosting your match, who's ever closest has the better ping. So like that's how the system works.
Yeah, I miss that type of system, not because you get obviously a better connection than pretty much everyone else, if not everyone else, but if you killed the host and like they left, or whenever the host actually left,
the match ends.
Not even. It like looked for a new host, but in that screen, both like teams got to open up and talk to one another, so you got like a little more shit talking, and like that in like 10 seconds you got to get in. Jay, thank you for the 3 months, homie.
Hey.
Well, I'm so glad that I brought up Counter-Strike, because I wanted to talk about something else. So you guys might not. Well, I brought this up to you guys a couple of times via text. Counter-Strike has been, making big roster changes. A bunch of professional teams have been making big roster changes. I think this was 2 years ago. We were all hyped on Renegades when they were making their way into a final, and they inevitably got spanked, I think, in the semifinals. But because they made it to the semifinals, they got legacy status, so they're considered a top 10 team. One of our hometown favorite, or not hometown favorites, but NA favorites, 100 Thieves, bought that and acquired that entire Renegades roster to play on their 100 Thieves CS. And they're considered to be, I think they're like ranked 7 right now in the world, 7, 8 possibly. But they're a very competitive team. They have a bunch of good young players. But it almost seems like the leap in their performances from when they were just Renegades to when they were 100 Thieves spiked exponentially. It's almost like that they started performing better 2 weeks ago, or less, maybe a month ago. Cloud9 ditched their entire Counter-Strike roster, and they picked up a very underknown name team called ATK. They are an international team. They got a bunch of people from South Africa. They got people from all over the world. But they picked up ATK, whose only real performance ever shown over the summer finals. I can't remember the name of the event, but they picked up this entire team that nobody really knew about. Cloud9, a huge organization, and they just absolutely smoked the IEM Katowice qualifiers 2 weeks ago. They smoked everybody on their way up. They didn't lose a single series. They even beat a top 10 team in MIBR, a team that people speculated they would never be able to beat. They beat them 3-1 in a best out of 5 series. So
Damn.
I wanted to bring up to you guys, is there a mental gap that needs to be crossed in these types of teams and these types of games, where if a huge organization like 100 Thieves or Cloud9 or like TSM or any of the other huge names in the industry pick up a lesser known roster, they just completely dump their old roster and pick up a lesser known roster, is that just like the barrier that they break down in performance and they just excel?
Yeah, I mean, Bry Guy, thank you for the 200 bits, dude. But to me, it's more of you perform better when you like where you are. And this is me being completely naive because I don't know what goes on between the 4 walls at like the prior orgs that these teams are at. But if your team is just up and willing to just like sell you off, I feel like that's not a good look as it is. Like they don't necessarily care that much. So that team that's proactively going after your team, believe me, they're not dumping millions of dollars into a pre-existing team because they just want to throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks. They've done their research on you and they want you. So it's kind of like a morale boost for the team to be like, okay, we got hunted down. We have a second chance at this because we kind of got stale at this team. But now we have the opportunity to excel when people probably don't think that we have any skin in the game. They probably don't think we should be good. So they kind of have that chip on their shoulder. So their mental state kind of kicks in and they're like, okay, now it's time to play balls out and let's prove these people wrong. They might feel like they're underdogs because their original organization that they thought they were just going to grow in forever just kind of sold them off for some money. And they're like, all right, now.
It's kind of rare for a team to keep a full roster like that for super long. There's always trades going on. There's people's contracts ending. Like very few teams keep people on their rosters for more than 3 years at some points. Like Crims, I think on Fnatic has been there for like 6 years or something like that. But that's rare in this industry, you know?
Yeah, I feel like you hear less of a whole team dump though. You know what I mean? Like you get rid of individual players or like a couple players or like a player decides that he's not happy with the role he has at this place and he'd be better somewhere else. So it's definitely few and far between where you hear the full team dumps. So when that happens, first of all, it's a big shock to the team that's literally dropping everything to acquire a new team. But I feel like that new team coming in doesn't want to disappoint because they have another shot at like a new team, especially when you're going to 100 Thieves 2, which is arguably like the most exciting esports team right now, just kind of on and off paper. They're just doing everything right. I feel like if you have the opportunity to play for Nadeshot or for his organization, you're fucking pumped. Like you excel when you like where you are working, I guess pretty much. It's like going to a job that you hate, like we all do now. Do you work to your full capacity? No. But if you loved what you were doing and where you were, you would put balls to the walls. And I feel like that's what these players are doing.
Yeah, I think in general, I mean, this is a tale as old as time, especially when it comes to sports. I mean, signing, a scrappy, like lesser-known team that has like the raw potential and molding them into a championship caliber squad is like not anything new. I mean, can
I preface this with one thing? Like on paper, the Cloud9 roster that they dropped should be significantly better than ATK. However, that Cloud9 roster didn't do anything for 2 years since the 2018 major, I think. And then the ATK that just showed up, the ATK roster that just showed up for Cloud9 now, had the best performance they've had in 2 years.
I mean,
on paper, they should not be performing as well as the previous Cloud9 roster.
Yeah, and that just shows something more was happening behind the scenes.
I think that also, I mean, you live and you learn, right? I mean, it's not, this is one of those things that as many, you know, esports athletes that are out there, there's still, when you think in the grand scheme of things, you have such a low percentage chance to make it onto one of these major rosters and really make a living doing this, that they, you know, any time on one of those stages could be your last. You know, you could bomb, you could, you know, the team could get just dismantled, you know, you guys could never get picked up again. You know, the game could kind of lose popularity or lose favor or, you know, whatever. I mean, any number of factors could come into play. So especially if a team is getting picked up and on paper they're the underdogs, you know, in everybody's minds are the underdogs, they've never done shit, they've never won shit. I mean, why not prove them wrong? You know, that's the type of storylines that I think we need to see more of from esports, because obviously you know a lot of the big teams, you know a lot of the big personalities, but hearing about a lesser known squad come out of nowhere and then just absolutely go balls to the wall and start performing like absolute like maniacs and defying anything on paper or in anybody's minds from what they were previously capable of. I mean, that's the type of shit that gets you hooked. So I'm all for it. I mean, I love this shit.
Yeah,
they didn't necessarily have great competition. They had solid competition with teams like Complexity. MIBR, they, again, on paper, they should have never beat MIBR. They beat them 3-1 in a best of 5, which is immaculate.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, immaculate.
Let me add something on top of this. Ready? So remember how obviously it was a couple seconds ago, but it takes away the morale if you're dropping a whole team, what have you, so it can kind of alter the flow of the team and whatnot. I was watching an interview the other day with the hell's the name of his podcast? It is
doesn't matter. No free ads.
No, he's a G. The Eavesdrop podcast by Hex, former Optic owner. So he had an interview with Clayster, who plays for the Dallas Empire for the Call of Duty League. And they were talking about how this is the first year that Call of Duty has substitutes. So everyone's going nuts because they don't know how it's going to work out. Obviously, you have like your 5 players playing, and then these teams could have anywhere from 7 to 10 players. And they're like, why do we even have substitutes? Because you like work around your 5 guys, right? Like you don't want to throw their flow off, their comms off and whatnot. So Clayster was talking about how there's like no point of having these subs. And then he said that, quote, traditional sports have decades and decades of cultural coaching to build them up to do whatever it takes is best for the team. If the coach thinks sitting you on the bench is that, then that's what's best for the team. But that's not how COD is right now. Everyone is very egotistical, and we're the best at what we do. I think esports is this is completely opposite of what you were talking about, but it kind of ties in, Bob. But I don't think that the Call of Duty pros right now, they're not used to substitutes. Do you think substitutes have a place in esports? No. We'll say Call of Duty for now. We won't generalize, but in Call of Duty, no, right?
Well, so the only I'm trying to think of what esports right now have subs. Overwatch. Overwatch is the only game I can think of right now with a professional scene that has a substitute role in case like their primary DPS isn't performing or their primary DPS is like sick or something and can't show up. I think that's the only professional scene that currently has it. When you look into Counter-Strike, the Counter-Strike professional scene, if someone on your team can't show up, you have to get a stand-in. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have substitutes available. You don't have people on the ready. Your roster is a 5-man squad, and then you have a coach, and that's it. And your stand-ins, you could just pick up any free agent to come play for you in that tournament until that person that wasn't available shows back up. So, for instance, Mouse Sports, my favorite Counter-Strike team right now, beat G2 in, I can't remember the name of the event, but it was over December break. They beat G2, one of the better French teams in the scene, with 1 stand-in and their coach. Mm-hmm. So 2 stand-ins, basically.
Okay.
Like, that's how the system works. You get a stand-in if you can't have a full team available. And then if somebody then can't be available, your fucking coach has to play.
Yeah. But I understand that because as someone who played sports my whole life, that's just what it was. If you can't perform, they're going to put someone in that can. I think these COD players are so egotistical that they're like, no, like even if I'm not performing, you can't take me out because then I'm going to be bummed that I'm just not going to perform. Tough shit. You want to call this a sport, then that's how sports are fucking played. You don't perform, you're going to put someone in that can. You're in a situation where like they have someone sniping on the other team and the person that's supposed to be watching that spot just can't take him out. All right, so the next time you play that map, you know that he's going to be playing the same spot. Why not play someone on your team off the bench who's a stud at sniping? It doesn't really happen in competitive COD, but I'm just saying as an example. I don't think that esports is caught up to that yet, especially in Call of Duty.
I think the biggest issue with all of that is the fact that all of these games are trying to franchise now. I think that's the reason why they're doing it. They're making 10-man squads because I'm going to assume that they have to set a roster before the CDL season starts, where it's like, these are our 5 players, this is our 3-man bench, something like that. Because when you're going through Counter-Strike events, you could drop people on your team whatever you want and just pay off a stand-in to come play for the tournament. It's all franchising. That's why this whole issue occurs. That's why this conversation happens.
Yeah, I just think the big names within the Call of Duty community have to like literally step up and like, all right, we want to call this a sport now. This is how sports is supposed to be able to play. Leave your ego at the door.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, you're on a team, right? You're on a team. So in this whole 7 to 10 man team, when only 5 people play, a team is you're only as good as your worst player. Shouldn't you train and groom everyone on the team to be able to know the same comms, to be able to play the same? That's what a team is supposed to fucking be. It's like when you were playing baseball back in the day, when they could put in Joe Smith, who like couldn't catch a cold, and he took your position in the outfield. You're like, oh great, like the ball gets hit out there. We're fucked. But this is competitive professional Call of Duty. You're the best of the best. What you do, what is there, 60, 70 pro players? You're telling me out of those 60, 70 players, you guys should all be on the same playing field. Guarantee you're going to have your studs, your veterans, but everyone should be on the same caliber. So if you have to get subbed out for the best of your team, it's all about the rings, baby. You want to win championships, whatever it fucking takes. It's going to take a little bit for them to learn this. I guarantee there's a huge thing. I mean, the CDL starts in less than a week. Well, just about a week, next weekend. But I guarantee throughout the season, there's going to be something pop up where like someone doesn't show up, a big name, and then he ends up leaving his team to go to a competitor. It's going to turn more into sports that way, but there's going to be a big fucking ordeal. I can smell it.
Yeah, I think it's a next man up mentality no matter what sport you're in, whether it's esports or contact sports or whatever. You have to be ready to make a sacrifice and believe in something that's bigger than yourself. And I mean, I don't really know as much about the CDL teams, but Kenny said that they were prima donnas. You were saying that they were a bunch of fucking divas. And the fact of the matter is that it's not about you, and it's not the name on the back of the jersey, it's the name on the front. And you need to be able to realize that if there's a better opportunity to put a player first who is actually performing, then that they gotta go. They're the ones that are gonna get the rounds. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are gonna get the FaceTime, because at the end of the day, I mean, that organization puts you where you are, and hey, nobody's getting paid if you guys lose. So you might as well just like let the coach do their job and let them put the players in the situations where they think they're going to thrive. So checking their ego at the door is definitely, I'm sure that's a challenging thing, especially if they're like younger guys and they're hungry, they want to perform. And it's probably tough admitting when you just clearly aren't cut out to perform in certain scenarios. But I mean, that's why you have larger rosters. That's why you have backups and subs and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of believing in something bigger than you, FaZe Jarvis believes that he's a rapper now. I don't know if you guys have listened to this. Actually, I know you guys have listened to this song.
Dude.
Banned for Life. That kid is in the clouds. That is the worst song I've ever heard in my goddamn life.
I wanted to put myself into like in Looney Tunes, they have those giant cannons, and shoot myself into the fucking clouds. That is how bad that song is. The kid, and I mean, first of all, it's on Vivo. Like, the kid's got like the thing, it's on Vivo, like you're an actual signed recording label artist. FaZe Jarvis, banned for life. And please just take our word for it. Do not go click that video. Do not give him the hits. Do not like fund his next musical endeavor by actually paying attention to this, because it's goddamn terrible.
Dude, use your platform for something else. Start a company or something. If you have a big following, don't try to become a rapper. Let me tell you guys a couple of the lines from the song. Ready?
You don't have to. You really don't have to.
No, for the sake of the story, yes, I feel like I have to. As a journalist, as someone who reports on this type of stuff, I have to put it out there. As a fan of rap music, I just gotta say it. LV sliders on my feet, Gucci flip flops, no sneak, still clap bots, no cheat. We was playing Fort, but it ain't no game. Hard work and dedication. Snipe kids all day. Made a video using aimbot. Now they want to ban me for life. I don't hate Fortnite. No, I ain't dissing. Still use Fortnite slang. I'm tripping. They asked me how I started Fortnite, how I came. Fucking bars.
I want to take these headphones now that these words have come through my head. These headphones into this. I need to throw these out. I need to throw this headset out. The kid stinks at rap, and I need him to just, as soon as the beat started, I already know what kind of like what kind of song it was going to be.
Hold on, wait. That beat kind of slapped.
Yeah, you're right. The
beat kind of slapped. The song, the lyrics, his actual voice made me want to shove sharpened pencils into my eardrums.
Yeah, the beat kind of goes.
Beat
Yeah, beat goes. And then one little last piece of news I want to hit on. Ninja was the first.
Wait, I'm not done yet. I didn't even get to speak on this. What do you mean?
Oh, I didn't know if you want to speak on it. I know that you really enjoyed the song. That's kind of
didn't even fucking bother. First of all, I resent you for sending me that in Discord and asking me, "Hey, Bob, do you mind watching this?"
This is our job.
It's for the podcast tonight, and I was like, you know what? Let me sacrifice a little piece of myself for the brand. So I did. I watched it, and I want to fucking throw myself off my roof.
Oh, what a selfless man you are, Bob.
Yeah, I know. You know all those times where rappers come out and they're like, oh, shit, no, I didn't have a ghostwriter. This is all me. This is one of those cases where he should come forward and say, that was a ghostwriter. He wrote for me.
You know damn well it was all him. It was all
those were my lyrics. Yeah, but he should be. That's the thing. He should be defending his fucking pride right now, saying, no, those aren't my lyrics. Even though everybody knows he came up with those shitty lyrics.
They're the worst lyrics I've ever heard in the world. I mean, unless it's like one big troll, which I don't think it is.
No,
that's way too. That's
don't even
way
give
too
him that
serious.
much credit. This kid is dead serious, and he's like, man, I'm gonna just let everybody on the internet know about my struggle. You want to know what struggle is? Let me tell you about getting banned from Fortnite. This is like a try-hard. Like, this kid is now just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. Just please stop. It's time to stop.
It's time to stop.
It's time to stop.
Michael Jordan, stop it.
Stop.
Get some help.
Get some help. Really, though.
Yeah. Bob, are you all set on that before I just kind of throw one last little piece of news in?
Do your thing.
All right, cool. So Ninja finally got his own Fortnite skin with his...
Oh, God. I didn't know this was coming up.
It's a huge piece of news. It's a huge... The face of Fortnite finally gets it. He's been asking for it since like season 2. Finally got it. First person to ever get it. Others are probably going to be coming according to the internet screeds. But big step for him. I mean, say what you want about the kid, but the kid's a businessman.
Yeah, he's not a businessman. He's a businessman.
Let me handle my business. Damn.
So he, like... I said this in the group chat when you had sent the picture of it. I think the skin looks cool. I don't play Fortnite. I think I've said this on the show before. I think that Ninja is an incredibly important person to gaming. In his, people are going to be trying to copy his mold until this, like, esports or not even esports, but like this like streaming bubble bursts. And the skin itself, they could have just made like a, big ass lanky Tyler Blevins with his blue hair and his Red Bull bandana, just fucking, squirming around in the on the battlefield. But they actually made kind of a badass skin. They like kind of reimagined him with a little actual like ninja flair. I never understood like the ninja name. I don't know if he just like, how he got the handle. If he just like, was like to dress up as a ninja for Halloween when he was a kid. I mean, I like to do that all the time. But it's like a hoodie, and it kind of like zips up like under his nose, so it kind of looks like a little like ninja cowl. And it looks a little bit more, you know, stylized. It's got his signature colors on there, and it looks pretty dope. And yeah, they said it was the first one in this like icon series, so I'm sure that they're gonna have other big Fortnite streamers that get them. I couldn't name you any more big Fortnite streamers, so I mean, your guess is as good as mine. But yeah, I mean, I'm just really looking forward to the if they ever like do a full remaster of Gears of War 2, the Dr. Bob Gears of War 2 skin in there.
Dude, it's gonna be the easiest target to hit. That thing's gonna be fucking huge.
Doesn't matter, dude, because he's gonna be fucking wall bouncing, bang, 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 just like that, left and right, bang, pop with a natural bang, pop.
Yo,
Something
something funny, not funny, but something cool about the ninja skin too. I don't know if like a lot of people know this yet, but I looked into it a little more. The better you do in the game, the more kills you get, the longer his his bandana gets in the back. So that's something to keep your eyes out to see for the Fortnite players that listen. It's actually really cool.
Good, yeah. This is a big episode for esports and Fortnite. So just you know, don't count on this next time.
We could have hard stopped at esports.
We could have.
Esports.
We definitely should have.
Just play video games. Just play video games. Oh yeah, hey, FaZe Jarvis, I got a message for you. Just play video games, man.
Hey, Dom, let me send a message back your way. He can't. He got banned for life.
You heard the song, bro. Free the real. Free the real.
Oh my God! Don't free him.
Yo, at the beginning too, I had like little clippets of like news station,
and it's like FaZe Jarvis. Or what does it say? Fayez Jarvis banned. Like he wasn't getting covered on major news networks.
He like made those up.
They just had someone's aunt put like a suit on and go behind a desk.
Paid her like $20 to do it. It was like
what's a cameo.
What's the mashup with like Biggie and Tupac? It's like dying to live.
Oh my God! It's like me and Biggie was who gone, you know. It was like an election. Oh my God! He really thought he was doing Running Part 2.
Dude, he really. Oh, that's it, bro.
Oh, dude, imagine if it was on that beat when he did that.
Dude, that would have been a fucking banger, dude. I would have came out to my wedding. I would have used that to come out at my wedding.
Why am I dying?
Did you already say you're not getting married?
I'm never gonna get married. I hate women.
Wow. They hate you too, trust me.
No, I know.
Oh my God.
Oh jeez. All right. You guys got anything else you wanna? Yeah, we're coming up on the hour. We might as well land the train, I guess.
Let's do it.
Let me check if we have any 5-star reviews on iTunes.
Okay. Well, I guess I can start. I want to give a Wicked Gaming shout out to. Let's see. Oh yes. So we received an email today from the folks over at ReadPop. They do a lot of the events planning for the PAX events, like huge conventions throughout the entire world. They are working with a charity organization called Game Devs for Fireys to help support the efforts that are going on in Australia right now. So I got a blog up on the site right now. The website is wickedgaming.com. You could read it at wickedgaming.com if you wanted to read. What they're doing is they're getting game developers to auction off some of their gaming memorabilia or, some tickets to something. I know, for instance, the guy Yug, who is the global marketing manager for ReadPop, is auctioning off 2 PAX South tickets, 2 full weekend PAX South tickets.
Ooh.
And he's also allowing the winners to accompany him the day before to get the show floor rundown. But it's an auction. So what they're doing is on Twitter, if you search Game Devs for Fireys, so Game Devs for Fireys, which I'm going to assume is Australian slang for firefighters. I'm just going to assume that because the charity is going to firefighter events. If you search that on Twitter, you will find, if you go through the thread, you'll find a bunch of game developers. I know Gearbox, for one, is involved in this too. They're auctioning off some of their memorabilia, or they're auctioning off events or exclusive stuff. So if you go into the thread and you bid for it, all you have to do is, when the auction period ends on January 22nd, if you had the highest bid, the developer will reach out to you. They'll give you a list of charities to donate to that are all going to benefit the game devs for Fireys, and then all you have to do is show proof, and you'll get whatever you were bidding on. So I said it last week. If anyone's ever interested in finding a cause to donate to try to help, there's a literal continent on fire.
That's right.
One of the 7. It's on fire right now. If you would like to give back, this is a great opportunity. So check out the blog on the website. Check out Game Devs for Fireys on Twitter. Auction off. Maybe you'll get some cool exclusive shit.
Love that. Love that. Real quick for me, just because I know I mentioned this last week. Last week I said that recurring guest, friend of the program, Johnny Root Beer, he was actually in the chat, and he was like in the delivery room waiting for the birth of his first child, waiting for the birth of his daughter. She is here, and she's perfect. Riley Root Beer has joined the chat. We
gotta make that shirt.
Yeah, Riley Root Beer has joined the chat. We'll have to make her a shirt. She's here, and she's perfect. I have met her already, and she is just like this tiny little beautiful thing. Mama's doing good. Mama Root Beer is doing great as well. And just wanted to say congrats again to a friend of the program and friend in real life, Johnny Root Beer, because we love him so much. We love that whole fam. And his dog Yoshi is still getting acquainted with the baby. Still kind of a little wary of it. It's like there's a new thing that's making noise in this house, and it's not him. So he's still getting acquainted, but I'm sure that they'll do fine. So yeah. So big congrats to them. We love them. We love you guys.
Nice. And I have a 5-star review I would like to read out. I'm not going to read your full government, but you go by Stones. So this 5-star review for Not Another Gaming Podcast is brought to you by Stones. I became aware of this gem after meeting Pastor Dom. He had officiated my brother-in-law's wedding. I have to say, of all the gaming podcasts I've listened to, and there have been a plethora of them, this podcast is like the love child of Mario, Sonic, Master Chief, Captain Price, and Simon Belmont after a long night of drinking, and they all had their way with Princess Peach. Thank you, gentlemen. Video game orgy for my ear canal. Thank you, Stones. And if you want your 5-star review read out loud on the podcast, just leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Happy to read it out. If you don't listen to us on iTunes, I don't think there's a lot of other ways to really review podcasts right now. Just DM it to us. So happy to read it as long as you say it like in your heart. It's a 5-star.
We have had some on Facebook recently, I believe.
Oh, I think we have
reach out to us. Yeah. Also, I've been checking consistently with the YouTube. So if you want me to shout you out, YouTube is where to do it. But I'm almost positive we have some stuff from our Facebook page.
We'll take a look into it.
Great. Yes, we do. Yes. Shannon, so not throwing out legals out there, but she says, just want to tell you guys to keep up the good work on Facebook and the podcast. Always look forward to hearing your buttery smooth voice every Saturday, for me at least. I'll catch up on your live shows one day. Peace out. Keep up the good work, boys. Thank you so much, Shannon.
I believe he's from Australia, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice Australian sig. Good man.
Love that. Love that.
All right, that's all I got. Take us home, Bob.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me exit out of Facebook before I start getting fucking targeted ads for back razors. All right. So, as we land the train, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to episode 163 of Not Another Gaming Podcast, brought to you by Wicked Good Gaming from your 3 internet dads, your favorite degenerate journalists. I'm Dr. Bob. We're here with Chris P. and Papa Dom, and we're saying thank you. If you're listening, if you're watching this live right now, thank you for tuning in. If you're not watching this live and you want to, it's twitch.tv/Wicked Good Gaming. You can catch us live every Thursday, usually every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard for the live recording of the podcast. We've been streaming, once in a while during the week, streaming video games. You could tune in then. You can catch me live on Tuesdays for Booze Days with Dr. Bob. You could check out the website, wickedgoodgaming.com, for all of the content that we put up daily. Gotta love it. You could check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/wickedgoodgaming. You could pledge to us on Patreon, which we still need to update. Bother us to keep to update it. It's patreon.com/wickedgoodgaming. Am I missing anything else outside of the podcast? No. You can listen to Not Another Gaming Podcast on all podcast platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio.com. Those are the only ones that exist.
Oh, shout that man out, Bob. Shout that man out in the chat. Do it now.
Sorry, I'm pulling up.
Do it right this second. That's a good man.
JB Genesis gifting 4 tier 1 subs. What a fucking champion.
What a gangster.
King shit. King shit.
Shit. Thank you so much, JB. Yeah, those podcast platforms. If you don't see us on your favorite preferred go-to podcast platform, let us know. We're going to bother Dom to put us on that platform because I don't know how to fucking do it. Yep.
I got
and yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in to episode 163 of Not Another Gaming Podcast. I'm Dr. Bob. We are Wicked Good Gaming. We'll see you next week for episode 164.
Word.
Very nice. JB, thank you, brother.
Thanks a lot, man.